Nicole Ben Simon here. Thought I'd jump on today to give you a little bit of a insight into my perception of what's happening in today's world and how our vision of our life and our perception of what is happening to us really does impact how we respond and how we behave in our current world, in our current situation. So we obviously have different perspectives of what situation is occurring. You could show, a number of people the same situation, and you can get a variety of responses depending on their ability to see the situation from where they're at on their journey or on their life experience. And I feel that people that I have spoken to and that I've been in touch with, there is quite a divide of the people who see what is happening in our current climate as a way of letting go of the old systems that are not working in our society in order to allow for the upcoming new ways of being, where systems and structures that have not worked before for the highest good of humanity are now being dismantled and replaced by systems of integrity and goodwill for us individually and also as a whole. There are two distinct groups of people who you would have different perceptions of. Those believing that our world is doomed and everything's destroying and we're losing all of our control over our lives, over our future, and really in deep despair and no trust in the bigger picture of what may be going on. People who are allowing themselves to be open to whatever they're being fed by the media, by the government, by those who don't necessarily always want what's in the best interest of humanity. And then there are the ones that really are sitting back and taking this time to sit with themselves and with their families and really dig deep into what it is that needs to be birthed from this situation. And these people seem to be more committed to their self-growth, their self-awareness, choosing to go from the victim mentality where you just, oh, poor me, and this is what's happening to me and my job and my family and my friends and my this and my this, my traveling and all of that. It's very victim-based mentality as opposed to I trust in the process. I know that there may be challenges, but there may be, or I believe that there is, I trust that there is a bigger understanding, a clearer knowing of what is taking place on a mass scale. And usually these are the people that are choosing not to be fed by whatever the media is dishing out, the number of cases and all of that. These are people who are wishing not to be in that cycle of worry and despair and anger and resentment and guilt and, just that constant. These are people who are actually choosing instead to focus all of their energy on going within and looking at other ways to rebirth themselves, to reinvent themselves, whether it's in business, in their position in the family. People who are now looking at their lives really quite seriously and saying, you know what, I've been living under these conditions where my partner and I for years haven't seen eye to eye, and I've run off into my job and I've buried myself there, and then he's been there or whatever. And a lot of people that are willing to really take an authentic look at their lives and where they're at, and making some really serious life changes that they probably could have made a long time ago, but weren't in that space where they really did need to sit, in isolation with somebody that they really weren't getting along with and really weren't growing with. So there are lots and lots of different things that are coming out of this global lockdown. Another thing which is which really reminds me that we are all in this together. There's this sense of unity, there's this sense of oneness, as opposed to me the Australian and you the Egyptian and you the Canadian. There's this sense of oneness where humanity is going through this, if you'd like to call it crisis, change, evolution, whatever. There's this sense of, no matter what culture you're from, no matter where, what your upbringing is and what your belief system is, we're all experiencing the same disruption, and it's a universal occurrence. And I don't feel that there has ever been anything like this, where perhaps the closest thing to that would be a war, but a lot of people are saying this is like the Third World War, and it's a war on consciousness. It's a war on those who are not willing to take responsibility for themselves and keep blaming everyone else around them because they're not wanting to look within. So it's the war of those people who are not wanting to take responsibility and want to be stuck with the old ways and not wanting to see how they can grow in a different way, opposed to those who are open to, well, if I can't, work from the office an hour away, I will take advantage of the fact that I can work from home, which means that I have 2 hours in my day where I don't need to commute to work. I've suddenly gained 2 hours in my day where I could probably go do a yoga class in the morning, go for a run in the afternoon, and then my 2 hours have been utilized so much better than if I had to sit in peak hour traffic for 2 hours in my day, which is really, when you think about it, it's insanity. I mean, you're sitting there for an hour driving, and then you're supposed to go into work all refreshed and revitalized and do a wonderful 8-hour shift. When you think about it, it doesn't make sense, we have more time now to spend in nature because, a lot of people have found ways that they can, run businesses online, so they can sit in the park, sit under a tree, do some grounding, have the beautiful sunshine around, really, really utilizing our time in a different way. And so, for those people who are committed to complaining, and look, I'm not saying that some people, obviously, we're all going through some challenges. There isn't the income that we may have had before, but it's from those times that we are able to grow and perhaps look sideways and, look around and see how we can have a different perspective of life. And, I personally like to do a headstand every day. And that's something that I just taught myself to do. At the beginning I couldn't, and it took me about 6 to 8 months to actually master it. But I really do try to just put myself in that position daily, just for even a minute or two, and really allow my upright position to be a different way, so that my blood flow gets a chance to reshuffle, and my perception of my world is upside down, and it's a different angle. And so I guess this time is calling for us to look at upside down ways, to look at different ways in which we manage our world, because many of the times the new ways that we may adopt may be so much better than the ways that we were living, and not really focusing on the possibility that they weren't working for us because we were always too busy working. So it's just really about perspective, I think. And I think that you can be committed to perceiving this world lockdown as something devastating, or you can perceive it as a way to look internally and do some growth on yourself and evolution on yourself. So see if that resonates with you, because it sort of popped into my head, and I just really wanted to share with you that there is a way that we can find the positives in the change and make the most of the situation that we are given and maybe grow from it. So I hope this has helped you to see things from a different perspective, and because for me, it really has given me the time to go internal and to really dig deep and find out what it is that my true essence is. What is the truth that makes me drive? You know, what are the things that I do want to do in this world? And that's how I have managed to find a peaceful way through this change and through this transition, and I hope you do too.